Okay, hi everyone. Glad to see that some people are already saying hello in the chat. This is lovely. Everyone else, feel free to say hi. Let us know where you are joining us from. As you can see, the chat function is where you can do talking. If you have any questions, you can put them into the chat while I am presenting. Some little technical things before we get started. Sometimes people will tell me that the image, the video gets a little choppy sometimes. If that happens to you, make sure that you have your other tabs of your computer closed. Because, sometimes if you have all kinds of tabs open, that's going to slow down your internet connection. These videos do take a good amount of bandwidth. So, close your other tabs. Give me your undivided attention. I promise you it will be worth it. Okay, so welcome to today's webinar, A Lead is Like a Seed. I am Stephanie Gellman, manager of our Smart Leads program, and this is the fourth in our webinar series about how to work with your online leads. You can find recordings of all the past ones on the RLP network under the marketing tab, then navigate to Smart Leads. In today's webinar, I will demonstrate how to deliver unexpected value, build trust, and engage with more of your online leads by providing them great information. Okay, so specifically, we will be exploring the importance of nurturing and incubating your leads by providing them with information. And we'll talk about how the information you share is a reflection of your level of expertise. Now, I'm going to show you where to find quality information to share with your leads. And then I'll also show you some examples of how to share the information with your leads through a variety of channels, including email, on your website, your social media, and through following the steps in the 45-day online lead action plan, as well as Smart Studio drip campaigns and email blasts. Now, before we get started, before we get into the how, we really need to explore the why. When you saw the title of this webinar, what came to your mind? Do you agree that a lead is like a seed? Well, what does that mean exactly? Let me explain with a little analogy. To grow a flower, the first step is to grab a seed and stick it in some dirt. To acquire a customer, the first step is to grab a lead and stick it in a CRM. Lucky for you, all the leads that are accepted via Smart Leads are automatically added to your Smart Studio My Book. You don't even need to manually add them. Your next step to growing a flower requires continuous water and some nutrients on some kind of schedule. Similarly, your next step in acquiring a customer requires continuous outreach, email, phone, on some sort of schedule. You're lucky. You don't even need to figure out what the schedule is because we have it for you in the Smart Studio 45-day online lead action plan. Now, if you don't water your seed, it will wither and die. Of course, unless it's a cactus. If you fail to get through to your lead, and I don't just mean successfully connecting with them, but I mean getting them to engage with you, over time, you'll likely end up marking them as a dead lead, unless, of course, they were going to buy anyways. For example, you send a couple of emails with some general information. You tell them the taxes of the listing because they sent you an email with that question. You never hear back from them, so you give up, and you declare them as a bad lead. But if you continuously nurture your seed and the environment is right, it will sprout and start to grow. If you continuously nurture your lead and the opportunity is right, your lead will respond and your relationship will start to grow. Because online leads are further from transacting than other kinds of leads, they will very likely not be ready to buy right away. But when they are ready, if you have been nurturing them, they will reach out to you over another agent. So how are you going to nurture them? Well, you're going to nurture them by offering value. So specifically, what is lead nurturing? Well, lead nurturing is the process of developing relationship with leads at every stage of the sales funnel through every step of their journey. It focuses marketing and communication efforts on listening to the needs of your leads and providing information and answers they need. Or to put it another way, lead nurturing is the process of growing and keeping alive a potential customer for your business until they become a customer. This process involves paying attention to their needs, watering them, and providing optimal conditions for their growth. It's very similar to gardening. Nurturing in its simplest form is simply the act of encouraging growth and life. Okay, so why do leads, specifically online leads, need so much nurturing? As I previously mentioned, typically they are further from transacting than other kinds of leads. In fact, on average, 50% of leads in any system are not yet ready to buy. But remember that they will eventually buy, and you want to be the one that they come to. Other benefits to nurturing your leads includes increasing your sales and increasing the size of the purchase. Now, here's another little story that I think explains the importance of nurturing quite well. I want you to imagine that you're in a garden with your friend and you're going to plant some beautiful tulips bulbs that you've just received. You kneel in the dirt next to your friend. You begin digging holes. But your friend isn't helping. In fact, he's just sitting there with a tulip bulb in his hand. You watch him. He turns it over slowly in his hand. He carelessly tosses it over his shoulder before selecting another one from the bag. He does this again and again and again until finally you stop him and you ask him, what is he doing? He's throwing away all these great tulip bulbs. And your friend replies, well, these aren't tulips at all. They don't look anything like a tulip. Now, obviously, you'd be very shocked and a bit confused if your friend didn't understand the potential these bulbs have to become beautiful flowers when they bloom. You have to explain to your friend that these bulbs will turn into flowers over time and with the proper care. They might not look like something beautiful now, but with the right love and care, they will eventually grow. Lead nurturing is the same way. Lead nurturing starts early, and you have to understand the potential each lead has to become a customer. Continuing with our story in the garden, the tulips you planted are continually in need of care. You need to water them regularly, ensure they get sunlight, and maintain ideal temperatures. In short, you have to care for their survival with constant and consistent attention. The same happens when you're nurturing your leads. Consistent lead nurturing includes sending timely and relevant information and keeping the avenues of communication open on their terms and not on your terms. In detail, well, what does send timely information mean? It means don't flood your new leads with information immediately upon the first time you make contact with them. Just like when you water a plant, you want to send information consistently over time. Follow the 45-day online lead conversion action plan in Smart Studio to know exactly when you should be reaching out to your lead. You want to provide relevant information. You don't want to send your leads info that's not relevant. You're there to shed light on questions they have and provide answers to their problems. You want to make responses easy. You should be listening to your leads as you nurture them. You need to provide ways for them to become customers. If you provide a consistent way for them to respond to you, they will reach out. This is why you always need to make sure your contact information is up to date in Smart Studio, your RLP network profile, your website, your social media, your email signature, and any other online channel you use. The last thing to remember when nurturing leads is it's important aspect that everything takes time. If you've ever planted anything before, you know the results are not instant. You have to follow the process. You have to trust that the things you do day in and day out without seeing any immediate results are going to serve a purpose and they are doing something great. You'll see the results if you are consistent in following your process. Your ongoing watering, i.e., providing relevant information, and making feedback easy should begin very early, and it must be consistent. You will see results over time. Some leads may be much faster to grow and bloom, but most of them will take time. Nurturing requires patient and persistent marketing. Now, just because this takes time does not mean to be passively waiting. Instead, what we must do is active waiting. And active waiting is the process of nurturing your leads. It's the process of providing them with info while they prepare for what will likely be the biggest purchase of their life. When a lead is reaching out to you via email, it means that that is their preferred mode of communication. If they have included their phone number in their lead form, you would definitely want to reach out first via phone. But even when doing that, it is important to follow up with an email containing the information they need. We can see from these numbers that most online leads prefer to receive communications via email. In fact, 75% of consumers want to receive commercial communications via email. And this is because it allows them to view the information on their time and not on yours. As you can also see, email marketing has a significant return on your investment. Sending out emails with a great system will require minimal time and effort on your part. Sending the right types of emails at the right time will help build a relationship with your leads. Use informational emails instead of promotional ones. This will help leads to see that you aren't necessarily trying to sell to them, but rather that you're there to help solve a problem or make their lives better. This will build loyalty and get them familiar with your brand. And by the time they're ready to buy or sell, they'll be very familiar with you. Email is the most direct way to get specific content to a specific lead, but effective email marketing needs to be 5 things: trusted, relevant, conversational, coordinated, and strategic. So let's look at these in detail. Trusted. Your leads are coming to you via royallepage.ca, which means that your content will be well received in someone's inbox because they reached out to you with a question. This is not cold calling. Royal LePage is a trusted real estate company that is 100% Canadian, and for over 100 years, we've been helping Canadians buy and sell their homes. Royal LePage is the voice of Canadian real estate, sought after by influential reporters across all media channels to comment on our industry reports, our expansive surveys, and to provide expert opinion on what matters in Canadian real estate. Being part of Royal LePage tells your leads that you and your information can be trusted. Relevant. Not only do you need to answer your lead's specific questions they've included in their lead content form, for example, what are the taxes, square footage, etc., but also remember to assign them to an applicable drip campaign according to the timing prescribed in the online lead conversion action plan, and that would be on day 14. Because most of our online leads are buyer leads, you will be more likely to be assigning them the buyer campaign. But note that we also have a seller campaigns for seller leads. All of these campaigns are editable and customizable, and you should take advantage of this function by adding in your own information and links in your drip campaigns. For more advanced users, you can even create your own custom drips. Now, At the end of this webinar, I will be emailing you a link to a past webinar I hosted that explains exactly how to customize a drip campaign in much detail. I don't have time to go over that right now, but you will get the resource on how to customize it fully, and you can watch that at any time you would like. Conversational. Give your lead a chance to respond and make sure that your next round of content takes that response into consideration. We want to talk with people, not to people. And all of your communications with a call to action and a question to keep the conversation going. See the difference of finishing your email with a closed sentence. For example, the taxes are $4,000 a year versus an open sentence. The taxes are $4,000 per year. Does this fit your budget? When you end it with a question, you are inviting a conversation as opposed to just making a statement. We want to be coordinated. Your email content should be the hub that connects social and website content. So always remember to link email content to related info on your social media and your website. It's best to provide your leads with a summary of info via email and then link that reply to much more detailed information that could be found on your website, on your social media, or a trusted source. No one has the time or the attention span to read a long email these days, but they might get around to reading the full article you've linked on their own time. Strategic. The system you use for emailing content needs to be organized and strategic and be able to deliver some kind of ROI metric. Follow the online lead conversion action plan created by extensive research into best practices in Smart Studio, or use your own plan if you are more experienced and have a plan that works. What is most important is that you have a system and you stick to it. Your system needs to be time-based. That means you need to have specific actions to do at specific dates in the lead nurturing journey. It should also have some kind of way of tracking metrics. You can do this in Smart Studio by monitoring open rates of the drips you've sent, as well as updating lead statuses. Doing these things will allow you to see which drips are being opened and by whom, and you can edit them as needed if you notice certain campaigns are not being opened. Updating your lead statuses to opportunities when applicable and completing the necessary fields will also allow you to know your potential commission earned. Now, when you're stuck with just an email for an online lead, when they are hiding behind that cloak of digital anonymity, when you want to differentiate yourself and build trust quickly, your plain typed out text just looks like everybody else's. Traditional email doesn't differentiate, and it is very difficult to build rapport with it. It engages the labored, rational, and slow part of your lead's brain. Now, video email, on the other hand, is uniquely you, your face, your voice, your personality, your expertise, and more. Because it's more human and natural, it engages the effortless, instinctual, and faster part of people's minds. And people will feel like they know you before they've ever met you. You don't need to be a model to do video email. You just need to be genuine. Now, we've arranged a great deal for Royal LePage agents who wish to use BombBomb, which is a video email provider, and that can lead to savings of $120 to $200 per year compared to normal account holders. And you can find information about how to get started with BombBomb on the RLP network. I strongly encourage you to give it a try and see how it goes. So we've discussed how to plan your emails you send to your leads. But what about the content of your website and your social media pages? Not only can you use your website and social media to generate leads, those are also great platforms to use to reach out to your current leads at all stages of their journey. 70% of people prefer to get to know a company through online content over paid ads. So while this stat isn't specific to real estate, it does carry a lot of potential opportunity for agents. Paying for ads and premium listings still play a key role, but the importance of online content has never been greater. Okay, so let's talk about how to nurture leads with content marketing. First, a little a definition of content marketing. Simply put, content marketing is the process of creating relevant and valuable content, from blog posts to infographics to videos, that attract, engage, and serve your audience. We need to realize that leads are already scouring the web for answers to their questions and solutions to their problems. Content marketing welcomes them at every stage of the journey and will help them move through the funnel. It comes down to this: people are educating themselves long before they reach out to you. Just because you can't identify these people doesn't mean they aren't qualified prospects. And because of this, you can nurture them just as you would known leads in your database. And if you succeed at this, you will stay top of mind with people as they educate themselves and move through the early stages. As a result, they will come to you when they are ready to engage with the sales rep, and you can create a steady flow of highly qualified inbound leads from your website and incubate leads that you've received from other sources. If you ignore the requirement to build relationships with these very early stage people, you're giving the opportunity to more agile competitors who will scoop these people from under you. So the first thing you need to do is to make valuable content freely available on your site and social media. You want to create an engaging website that's keyword optimized and covers topics spanning across topics, from home building tips to do-it-yourself projects. And the idea is to consistently offer your audience content that meets their needs. So going back to the gardening analogy, let me share another one with you. Content marketing is a bit like seeding your lawn. Success requires time and specific conditions to reap a reward. Everything takes time. You can dump thousands of pounds of seed and millions of gallons of water on your yard, but it won't make the grass germinate any sooner than it's possible. There needs to be minimum temperature and moisture for a certain period of time. The same is true for content marketing. Don't expect to post a few blog posts, and then be flooded with traffic website and form completions. It takes time, and you're going to have to continue to do what is right until you see the results. Now, you can't succeed everywhere. If you seed a spot on your property that has poor soil or not enough light, the results are going to be minimal and short-lived. Understanding your audience is crucial. Spend time learning who your ideal customer is, and find the conditions where you need to plant some interest in their minds, and do so at the right locations online. The kind of customers you gain are equal to your investment. A bad lead is like a cheap seed. All grass seed is not created equal. You might find a 20-pound bag for $5, but I guarantee you there's a reason why the $30 bag of the same size is worth it. So, in essence, you could be sowing a lot of seeds, but many of them have no chance in producing results. You may be tempted to go with the cheapest content marketing solutions or website, but creating a specific strategy to attract specific kinds of customers may cost more. Invest in driving quality traffic to your website that actually converts will be worthwhile. No one wants to grow a crop of customers that choke out the life of the good ones. Faithful nurturing is the biggest factor in content marketing success. Just like it takes an investment to drag around sprinklers and wake up at the crack of dawn to irrigate before your morning commute, content marketing requires faithfulness and diligence. Some leads will take continued nurturing until they get firmly rooted. Attend to them and treat them like the delicate shoots they are before they wilt and die. New results don't mean ongoing success. You might be able to grow the strongest new lawn, but without staying on top of things throughout the years, your crop may vanish. Just like it takes time for a lawn to mature, smart content marketing over the years can turn a new customer into a brand advocate. Now, finally, success will multiply. Those first tiny grass blades can eventually turn into a full lawn. Likewise, customers can not only be gained, but they can multiply as they mature into brand advocates. A good content marketing strategy provides easy ways for your followers to share and spread knowledge of your services to generate even more qualified leads to your website. So, what does your website need? Well, first of all, your website is your online home base. With a robust SEO strategy, it will be the first impression your audience gets of your brand, and it should be a constant, continual resource for your leads at every stage of the journey. Your website should contain calls to action and make sure they are short, specific, and easy to use. Your website should always contain your contact information. Call to action lead capture forms are fabulous, but do not force people to use them. Always include an easy to find contact page with your street address, your phone number, and your email. Your website should contain pictures and videos. A picture is worth 1,000 words is no truer than when it comes to real estate photos. There may be a property on your website that has the number of rooms the buyer wants, is in the neighborhood they desire, and in their price range. But if there's no photo, they will keep searching. Valuable information. You need an online library, your brand's resource center, to store all of your content on every topic, and it should be strategically organized and presented in a way to create a wonderful user experience. Back to the contact information part. It may be very tempting to force people to sign up for a newsletter before you send them information because you want to capture these leads. But by eliminating the need for registration in order to obtain your white papers, your ebooks, your other valuable content, you are making an effort to build relationships with people before you have them in your database. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, but if I do this, I will be wasting valuable information on people I'll never be able to identify. On the contrary, you will strengthen your readership, and these dedicated yet anonymous leads will likely come to you as inbound leads once their level of interest is high enough. Moreover, whether you like it or not, in most cases, the information is already out there on other sites, so you may as well embrace the trend rather than fight it. Now, also remember that when you give a prospect something of value without asking for anything in return, you're creating the business relationship as if it already exists. People love this because they are getting something they want. There isn't any pressure, and it sets a very comfortable tone for them to want to continue to work with you. So I've talked a bit about websites, and I need to mention that we do have this great preferred partner for real estate websites, Client Click. They're holding a promotion right now. It's until the end of July, where you can get an extra month free on your subscription. So to find out more about that, you can just go to the RLP network and look under marketing, Client Click websites. I will let you know that their web people are amazing at making sure that your site will rank high in SEO, and they will hold your hand the entire time through setup as well as maintenance. And you can also do a free trial, so it doesn't hurt to try. Okay, so moving on to social media, because we talked about websites, social media and your leads. What is a really good idea to do is like other Facebook business pages and follow other Instagram business accounts via your business page and account, and tag other businesses in your posts. This is called cross promotion, and it can help to increase your reach. Remember to post helpful and interesting articles and photos to your social media accounts and link to those posts in email messages. Include your social media handles in your email signature, and don't be shy to ask people to like and follow your pages. Getting leads to like or follow your social media will significantly increase your chances of turning them into a customer. Now, Learning Services has hosted many webinars about social media and business, so I'm not going to get into the details or the how-tos of social media, but I will let you know all of the past ones can be found on the RLP network under the training tab. I myself hosted a great one about Facebook business pages and how to set them up. That one has been a big hit. I strongly recommend it. And Learning Services also has one coming up about Instagram on July 4th. So I strongly recommend that you make use of these great resources to help optimize your social media presence. Because as I said, getting your leads to like or follow you on social media will significantly increase your chances of turning them into a customer. Okay, so I talked about having good information on your website and your social media. And here's some examples of the different kinds of information you can host. If you have ideas of other content that I didn't put in here, please put it in the chat and share your knowledge. Now, be sure to use your knowledge of local experts and professionals you can recommend. This is one that I often see agents forgetting to include in their websites. A lot of agents are good about throwing in the standard, home maintenance, home valuation stuff, but neighborhood information is so crucial for people who are new to the area. So on your website and on your social media and in your communications, be sure to reference local businesses that you support. And don't only focus on the obvious, for example, home renovations and mortgage brokers. Think outside the box. A neighborhood information page is a great resource. You can list restaurants, schools, veterinarians, hair salons, community events, community statistics, you name it. Where to find great information? Well, there's a few sites here that I want to recommend. You can find a lot of valuable information on royallepage.ca. Look under info and advice on the homepage, and you can find information for buyers, for sellers, homeowner tips, as well as our expansive surveys and reports. When you send emails to your leads and your contacts, be sure to link the message back to the related web page for people to read more information should they wish to learn more. For example, if you have someone who emails you asking about a recreational property for sale, you could answer their email with a short reply, answer their questions, their specific questions about that listing, and then link it to a recreational property report for more supplemental information about the market in general. I also want to strongly recommend that you make use of the resources on royallepage.ca by linking them to your website and social media. You can also share the Royal LePage social media posts to your channels. So you can find official Royal LePage social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, as well as LinkedIn, all of which are filled with amazing posts. One of our sponsors, Genworth Canada, provides you with access to tools and resources to enhance your skills to help educate home buyers in the home buying process. They provide for you detailed information and infographics about financing, house hunting, the buying process, closing and moving, as well as quarterly reports. CREA hosts information about the buying and selling process, as well as comprehensive market statistics and mortgage information. And finally, local experts. Well, these are the businesses that you know and you trust and you can personally recommend. And if you're new, ask a more experienced agent that you know who they work with and start to build up your own list of business contacts. Now, as I mentioned before a few times, we have this fabulous free CRM called Smart Studio, and every lead that you receive via Smart Leads is created as a contact in Smart Studio. And you can manually add your leads to Smart Studio as well, just by typing them in. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, because using action plans, number one, will automate your workflow and it will help to align all of your marketing efforts and messages. And assigning leads to drip campaigns, make sure that each lead receives the most relevant messages at the most opportune times. Okay, so specifically, what is the action plan? So, in our 45-day online lead action plan, sorry, I'm doing two things at once right now, which is never a good idea. um, okay, so it's been optimized with best practices for lead conversion. It contains scripts as well as daily prompts to help you respond faster. All your leads that are accepted in Smart Leads are not only created as contacts in your My Book, they also get the 45-day online lead conversion action plan immediately applied. So I'm going to pull up the RLP network here, and you can see you can find Smart Studio under marketing, and then we go Smart Studio. I'm going to launch, and I'm just going to show you briefly what the action plan looks like. So it contains online lead conversion best practices, including 11 tasks over 45 days. Includes email, phone, and text scripts, all of which are customizable by you. So to find it, you will go into campaigns and you'll see here action plans. So we have a lot of action plans, but this is the one that I want you to see. So we see here there's 11 tasks, and I'm just going to click here and I'll show you. So they tell you on what day you will do these tasks. So some of them are, phone calls, emails, some are admin type tasks, some are setting people up on drip campaigns, and there is an explanation of what it means. Why are you going to be doing this? And then you will see here that there are scripts for you to use, and you can customize your scripts. So we see here, this is a phone or a voicemail script, but you can tweak this by going in here. You can type, you can edit it. And this is really powerful. So, what you ought to be doing is review the scripts available to you before you reach out to your leads. And as you grow comfortable with this, you should be starting to refine the scripts to match your style. Now, if you're using some other CRM, that's great. That's wonderful. Just make sure that it also has action plans with scripts that you can use to respond quickly to your leads. I don't care how experienced you are, everybody does better with a script. Okay. I have so many things open here. Okay. So now those are action plans. So once again, the reason that an action plan is good is it will automate your activities to keep it consistent. Now, drip campaigns. Great thing to do with drip campaigns is to personalize them. Personalized emails reduce unsubscribe rates. They're 75% more likely to be opened, and they have higher click-through. You are able to personalize the drip campaigns in Smart Studio to address your lead directly by using the mail merge fields. Also, remember to make your drip messages conversational. End with a question to create engagement. Now, another way to further increase the effectiveness of email marketing is to divide your leads into different segments based on their type. So this could be things like demographics, if you know it, the buyer journey stage. Are they a buyer or a seller? If they've put interest in a condo, you could segment them versus condo detached people, cottage people, you name it. Once you've segmented your recipients, you can then suit your emails for the different segments to offer highly personalized and customized contents. So I'm going to bounce back into if I can find, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to bounce back into Smart Studio here, and I'm just going to show you what I mean about drip campaigns. So here we have our drip campaigns. So under campaigns, drip emails, and we can see if we click on manage campaigns, these are all the different ones. So I'll just grab one at random. So I'll say go here to show you. So this is a buyer campaign for 30 days. So what that means is the messages go out staggered throughout a 30-day period. And if you want to see the content, you just click on edit here. And you can see this is the first one, helping you with your home purchase financing. So the first thing you need to do, tweak the subject line, make it a little more unique and personalized. In here, you can enter text, all of which can be personalized. You can include this little thing right here is a placeholder that will throw in your lead's name, so you don't have to type it in. And then you can put in all kinds of info in here. You can link it to things. And as I said before, I'm going to send you an email with a link about how to customize these, because there's a bit to it and we don't have time to go over it today. But what is important for you to know is that you can customize these, and you can also group your leads and send out specific drips to them. And you can even create your own custom drip campaign should you wish to do it. So I think I made, here we go. So here's an example of one that I made, and I just started a little bit, but I have made one for people who are retiring soon. So here's an example of one that I made, and this is going to be, a drip campaign that I send out to people that I've targeted as a certain demographic that will be retiring soon. And I'm going to include some information about retirement. I've linked it to the Royal LePage retirement info section on our site. And I've ended my message with a little call to action. And you can do the same thing with all of your messages. And what I would do is create a series of messages like this to go out. Okay. So these are drip campaigns. So what's important is you want to group your leads and make custom drip campaigns tailored to their needs. Now, what else do we have available for you free to use? There are email blasts and newsletters. So even with these leads and all these things, keep sending this stuff to your leads. I've had some agents tell me, well, I don't want to be bombarding them with information. I feel like I'm harassing them. They don't reply to me. Should I keep sending them emails? Send them emails on a schedule. You won't be bombarding them. And if people don't want to get any more emails from you, they will hit the unsubscribe button. That's including all the Smart Studio messages. So you don't need to worry about harassing people that don't want your info, because if they don't want it, they'll unsubscribe and you won't be able to send them messages, because we do comply with Canada's anti-spam legislation. Okay, so going back to this, we have e-blasts and newsletters. So the e-blasts contain holiday e-cards, and all of these are customizable to suit your needs. So we do, I think every holiday is available. And if there's something that you want to see and it's not there, you can let our marketing department know that we missed a holiday. You can also create your own blasts from scratch via create your own content. So I would suggest that you could create a custom blast to alert all of your buyer leads of an upcoming open house you were hosting. You could even create a custom blast to invite everyone in your database to local events, or really anything else that you want. What's important is that you're staying top of mind. Then we have our quarterly newsletter called The Homeowner. It's great to assign people to this. The newsletter provides wonderful information about real estate, seasonal home maintenance advice, as well as buyer and seller tips. And a really neat thing about the newsletter is you can add featured properties super easily, as well as add your own text at the end. Okay. So, going to be wrapping up soon. So please throw in any questions that you have. I'm here to answer your questions. I just want to summarize what we've gone over before. So we need to nurture our leads. We got to see the potential in that little seed. We need to be patient. We may not see the results right away, but with continuous nurturing, your little seed may grow. Email marketing. So we want to emails allow people to read info on their time, not on your time. We want to send them info. Keep sending them info unless they ask you to stop, even if they don't respond. And make sure that the info that you send is relevant, conversational, coordinated, and strategic. We looked at the important pieces that you should have on your website and your social media. So you want to make sure you have great free information, no strings attached, on your website and social media. Include links to your channels on all your emails and ask people to like and follow you. I talked about where you can find great information. So including royallepage.ca, Genworth, Korea, and then also use your own local experts. And then I touched on our Smart Studio CRM. So, how to use the action plans and drip campaigns and blasts and newsletters to automate your outreach. So I'm going to get to questions. I see that Jeff has asked, what is the timing of the newsletter publishing? So it goes with seasons. So the summer one just came out. The fall one will be out, I'm guessing September 21st. It's generally very, very seasonal. So there's spring, summer, fall, and winter for our newsletters. So before we leave, I want you to look at these song lyrics that I've adapted for our theme. This song was actually a bit of the inspiration for me to write this webinar, and some of you may recognize the lyrics that I've adapted. And so I just want you to always remember to see the potential in every lead. I'll be staying on for a couple more minutes. Let me know if you have any other questions. And as I said, I'm going to be emailing you a link with a recording of this. You can watch this over and over again. I'm also be emailing you some Smart Studio resources. It really is a fabulous resource for you. It's just all about learning how to use it to your best advantage. Last but not least, here is where you can get assistance, tools, and training. If you don't already have customer care's contact information, here it is. Make sure you note it down. And let me see. I see a few more questions coming in. So I see a question from Mike here. It says, if we send out emails unsolicited, are we in any danger of not complying with the Privacy Act? So, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't exactly give legal advice, but I can tell you with confidence, Mike, that if somebody is reaching out to you, they are giving you consent to reply. So if somebody sends you an email, whether it is an email to you direct, to your website, if they're messaging you on your Facebook page, or if they are emailing royallepage.ca and if they're emailing royallepage.ca asking for information about a listing and you receive that as a lead, they have consented to you to reply. So you're okay. You're not in danger of contradicting any privacy laws. Okay. Now, I know we still have a lot of people online here. You guys are the experts in a lot of ways. So I would love to hear if any of you have advice, if any of you have great sources that you use, for information that you share, if you have any resources that you think are great. I see we have someone here that's asking, well, I need more resources for market information other than CREA and the RLP website. And the reality is CREA really is the best for legitimate statistical numbers. That being said, each local board has a lot of great information. So depending on where you're working, you can access your own local board as well. I'm in Toronto, so if I was reaching out to people, I would definitely link them to TREB resources. So I don't know if anyone else who's joining us right now can recommend any other great resources. Okay, I have a great comment here of someone I've tried to get from Carol here. I've tried to get more emails from prospective customers, but they just don't fill out Facebook forms. So, Carol, a lot of it is if they're not ready to fill out a form, there is nothing that you could do to persuade them per se. Just keep nurturing them, getting them. I mean, if they're following your Facebook page, you've already won half the battle. A lot of people online, they value their anonymity, but if you can get people to follow you on your Facebook, that's great. I don't know if you've looked at doing Facebook ads, because Facebook ads are a really cheap way to make very, very targeted ads. So you can target your ads specifically to people who are interested, in real estate in your neighborhood or in your area. That might be a way to go if you're just, because I'm not sure exactly what your strategy has been, but if you want to let us know a bit more about what you've done, that could potentially help any advice. I know when I did my business page on Facebook, and I ran some ads, when I made the ad very, very targeted, the group of people that were receiving my ad was a lot smaller than a less targeted ad, but I did get better, more qualified. Well, I wouldn't say qualified, but I got leads that were a lot more interested in engaging with me because I targeted it so specifically. So, Carol, I'm strongly going to recommend that you have a look at the resources that we've done about, Facebook ads in specific, because you might find some info in there about, how to really target those ads. And then I see the question about and looking for more content on marketing on Instagram. Well, you're in luck, because our learning services team is going to be hosting a webinar on July 4th that's all about Instagram. So really, that's one that you should strongly attend. You can see up here on this page, I put where you can find the information about upcoming webinars and how to register for those. So they did one last month that was an introduction to Instagram, just kind of general knowledge about Instagram. And in July, they're going to do a much more advanced version of Instagram to really, really dive deep into that. So I'm going to recommend that anyone that's interested in that they join it. And yeah. And then let's see here. Okay. So I see question, a few thank yous. All right, you're welcome. Can you give an example of what you've done in your targeting ads? Yeah, definitely. So when you do your ads, you can choose who your audience will be. And, I've done things like, for example, I I target people that have a higher education, because those people, I'm assuming, probably have more money to spend than people that don't have that much education. So I typically will target people that have college or university degrees. I like to target people that have families because I want to get them looking at, the single detached homes in the suburbs, for example. So I like to target people who have higher education, people that have families, target people who have an interest in real estate, target people that are close to my current listings. If I have current listings, you can do targeting based on actual physical location of the people on Facebook, because Facebook knows everything about you. Um, so things like that. So really, it's about making specific ads for specific needs. So, instead of just doing one general ad, you can do a very specific ad for an open house that's coming up. You can do another very specific ad that is trying to get sellers. But what's most important is, the very specific ads. When you're just making a general ad of like, oh, like my page and fill out my form, that's not enough for people. They need to get some value out of it. You need to be answering their problem. So I hope that helps, Anna. um, yeah, and Carol, I'm sorry that your ads are really just not working, but I think, look at who you're targeting. And maybe also have a look at what images that you're putting in the ads, because people are so visual. Sometimes the image of your ad is what can make or break it. So have a look, and frankly, talk to some friends or colleagues that are in the field, or even people who are not in the field. Talk to your neighbor or your partner and ask them what they think, and ask them for really honest feedback. Sometimes I have done marketing pieces that I thought were stellar, and then I show them to my husband, who would be someone that would be, my typical client, and he goes, no, that's way off the mark, Stephanie. So sometimes getting some feedback about, the images that you're using, it might just be something as simple as that. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you guys back. Just because I want to keep reminding this. Well, this is a good question. So this is more, I guess, about lead generation from Mike. What do you feel is good use for mining subdivisions, such as door flyers? So, Mike, I'm going to tell you, I don't know the answer to that. So I would love to hear what other people have to say in here, because that is definitely not an area that I have dove into. So, part of being a good teacher is knowing your limits, and that's one that I have not gone to. So everyone else who's still with us, give Mike some advice. What do you think could help him out with that? I also want to remind people who are still hanging around, because I can see we have a good little group that has some wonderful questions. Great thing to do is join various social media groups and other professional groups, because you're going to be able to get advice from people that have been there and done that 1,000 times over. And sometimes you're going to be in a group where nobody has the answers, but sometimes you will be surprised at all the different advice that you can get. So, Mike, I don't know. I guess everyone else is unsure about that one too, because I don't see any advice coming in for you on that one. So I'm going to hang around for just another few minutes, see if I have any more questions coming in about lead nurturing. Thank you, Anna. Okay, so Anna is saying that, door flyers, it works, but it's very time consuming if you do it yourself. So I guess good advice would be, hire someone to help you. And it's expensive. Yes. You know what, Carol? You're right. It's very expensive. The printing and the distribution of door flyers. Um, and the one thing that I do know about flyers is it is near impossible to track any kind of metrics. That's the one thing that I really like about the Facebook ads is I can actually track stuff. I know exactly how much I spent. I know exactly how many people I reached, and not just how many doors I shoved it into. I know how many people saw it. So I don't know how the world of flyers is going to be working out in the long run. And then we have Anna saying there, it's more personal if you actually knock on the door. Definitely. I mean, and for those of you who are remaining, how many people still do door knocking? Is that a very common practice? Thank you, Jeff. That is a wonderful comment about consistent. And this is what we have been reminding people for ages. To have any kind of results, whether it's farming or nurturing, you just need to stick to it. You need to do a lot of touches before anything becomes effective. Okay. Well, you guys have been a wonderful audience. I can see it's 3 o'clock now. I'm sure everyone has important places to go. So as I said, you will be getting an email with a recording of this. You can watch it over and over again. I'm also including in that email recordings to some past webinars, as well as some just short tutorials about Smart Studio. And yeah, I want to thank everybody for being here today. This was really good. And yeah, so we're gonna stop the broadcast now. So thank you so much. And I hope you can join me next month. I'm still working on a subject. So, when you get the email today with the link to today's webinar, if you have a suggestion of what you'd like to see for next month, feel free to reply to that message and let me know other topics that are specific to online leads that you would like to know more about. I am always open to suggestions. Thank you so much and have a lovely day. Get out there and do some gardening.